Hey guys, Saf here, and today we're in New World and we're going to take a look at the best way to upgrade your engineering skill, something which is really important for a lot of players who will want to try and progress to get those star metal and orchaleum tools as early as possible. In the video we're going to look at the best places, the best items to farm, the best places to farm those materials, and what you can do to try and optimize your engineering skills going forward. Now, with many crafts in New World, the initial 50 levels tend to be very quick and you tend to really feel like you're getting going, but then it becomes a bit of a grind to get yourself over the next hurdles. And every 50 is kind of a big break point in engineering. So at 50 we start being able to craft steel tools. Now steel tools are a big jump up from iron tools, you're talking almost double the gathering speed. And then at 100 we can craft star metal, and that's again another 150% more gathering, and at 150 we'll be able to craft orchaleum. Now you will need obviously to be at the right level to be able to wield these tools, but if you're not, you can still sell them and make a lot of money if you've got into the server early, and players will be looking to upgrade their tools and looking for better tools out there. So the first thing we want to look at here is what is the best way to get engineering up as high as possible. Now there are 2 or 3 strategies that I have seen across the different game that I've personally experienced, but I found the best thing to be doing here is to make as many treated wood bows as you need. Timber in New World is probably one of the most easiest resources to find. It's on any tree that you find. Leathers can be harvested in specific hotspots, and linen, there are great hemp farms in New World where you can find the resource, and we're going to cover where to farm these. But what you don't want to be using is your iron ingots. Now iron is much more difficult to get hold of. There are some specific farming routes you can take, but generally you're going to use iron for lots of different other crafts as well, such as outfitting, weaponsmithing, and you're going to want to try and hold on to that iron as much as you can. You'd rather farm the wood than the iron. So how do we get the resources to make this? Now you're going to need to make a lot of bows. It only gives us about 204 engineering. Now early on that's a lot, but when you start getting to 103, 204 is not a lot to get you to the higher levels. Now if you want to see the full XP table, we have that on our website Isle of Eternum, and we'll link that in the video description below. You can go on there and see how much experience and do the math and work out how many bows you're going to need so you can really maximize your crafting output. So where do I farm treated wood bow materials? So the best place that I have personally found is in Windswood, just south. Now Windswood is a starter area that you will either get put into one of 4, either First Light, Monarch's Bluff, Windswood, or Ever 4. I would definitely recommend any mid-end game or early game player, if they want to upgrade their engineering, to follow this route. So what we're going to go is we're going to go just south of the settlement, Dankfur Follow. So you can see I'm just outside of the settlement here, and right straight away we start chopping wood. Now one thing you should be doing before you leave is crafting a bunch of proficiency potions. Now proficiency potions are really cheap to make. They also help upgrade your engineering. So having a stack of 100 is a good idea. It doesn't add anything to your weight score, but what this will do is it will give you 5% more resource for any craft that you get. Now that's not a substantial amount, but that will add up over a number of farming ones. You'll need to farm for a very long time. So we're going to drink that now, and then we're going to chop the next tree down. And all you're going to do is you're going to come up to this hollow, and you're going to primarily cut the trees down, and you're also going to farm the wolves. Now you'll see the respawn rate on these wolves are quite high, very fast. We're talking less than 10 seconds. Now you won't get much craft experience when you get to my level at 49 here, but you can level up your secondary weapons bit by bit. You'll get about 2 every single time. But you can see that the wolves are substantial here. There's plenty of them. So that will satisfy the second component of our bow farm, which is the coarse leather. And you can see like people will be here a lot killing them. Now we'll just keep chopping trees, and what we're going to do is we're just going to fill our bags up with young trees, not specifically young trees. We're not looking for mature trees here. Now whilst we're doing this, we're also upgrading our logging, which will be important as you progress through the game, because you'll need a higher tier of logging to be able to craft to cut down the wood and eventually ironwood. Now this might take you about 40 minutes, but what you will return with is a substantial amount of resources. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run this route, and I'm going to speed up the gameplay so you can see how quickly we can fill the bags. Now I should note, for an early game player, you might only have one bag slot, so you're not going to have the same level of encumbrance that I have here. But to give you an idea, this is a full kind of tier 4 bag, so we're looking at pretty high levels of encumbrance, and I think I've got 1 perk of extra pockets. So I'm going to basically let this run through and then come back when I've got a full bag worth. So I've just got back to town now, and I've started to convert my wood. I was able to do the run in about 25 to 30 minutes, and I got to about 25% left. I was able to also, in the same place, there's a few hemp plants here and around here, and there is also a couple of iron ingot ores, or iron ores that you can actually farm as well. So it's a very good place to get a little bit of everything, but a lot of wolf and trees spawn here on a very regular basis. So rawhide and timber are great. So we're just crafting up the basics. So we've just taken our fibers and we've just made linen. We don't really want to go any further with it. We've gone to the wood shop here and we've taken all our green wood up to all of our timber. And now we're going to head over to the tanner, and we're going to convert all of the rawhide we've collected into coarse hides. That's all you need to do. You don't want to be upgrading anything right now. Whilst you're doing this, you're still improving the leather working and your weaving and your wood cutting at the same time. So these refining trade skills are also increasing. So we're now going to go to the workshop. So I've got 583 timber, but as you can see I need a lot more timber than I need leather and linen, so I'm predominantly farming the wood more than I'm farming the others. I'm just picking them up as I go, and we can make 48 bows, so that is going to give us a bunch of engineering. Now you'll see at 103 this is, you think this is going to take you a lot, it's probably not. So we're just going to quickly craft all this and we'll be back afterwards to see how much it's actually increased it. Okay, we've crafted all those. There's no way to really speed up the animation. You just basically set it off, go make a cup of tea, and come back once it's done. Now, unfortunately, you can't really sell these bows. They're not worth anything. Nobody's going to need them after pretty much an hour or two into the game because they're going to be transferring to new stuff. But what you can do is just salvage them and get some timber back. So I'm just going to quickly salvage all of these. Eventually, we will get a salvage all button someday in the future. And with this, every time we salvage, we're going to get some repair parts, and we're also going to get timber back, which means you can recycle and you can basically craft another round of resources, so long as you've got enough linen and leathers. Now, you won't get linen or leathers when you salvage, but you will get the timber, which is predominantly the larger amount. So you can just keep cycling this. Now, you can see we've gone from 103 to 105 with that one batch. It's going to take some time. You're going to have to grind, but this is the most quick and reliable way to do it, in my opinion, and from my experience playing the game. Now, there is a secondary route if you didn't want to be cutting all the wood down and you hated logging. Now, the secondary route you can do is to craft gunpowder. So gunpowder requires charcoal, flint, and saltpeter. Now, charcoal, you're still going to need to chop some trees down to make it, but flint you can pick up from any coastline. I think some of the best places here would be along this coastline here by Monarch's Bluff, because you're right next to a settlement, so you just run up and down the coastline. All you're looking to do is collect flint as you go, and you'll also pick up some bait as you go, so you might be able to sell the bait on the marketplace for some return of gold, as a lot of fishers will need that bait. Saltpeter is a little bit more difficult to get hold of, but there is they tend to be in wolf dens a great deal. Now, I haven't actually farmed this route a lot because I did start to do a little bit, but I found it to be quite contested, and you also have to run in caves where there's a lot of mobs, where just south of this base here you're really close to a territory and you can run to do it. And then all you would do is you would again craft a bunch of gunpowder. Now, with the gunpowder you can choose to keep it, and then if you are using a musket you can craft it into ammo, so you can make some cartridges, which are used pretty much on all tiers of cartridge. So there's never a bad idea to have lots of gunpowder if you can sustain the weight that it's going to cost you to store it, or you can put it on the trading hall because any musket user is going to need it to make their own ammunition, so it will sell. But I still think after all of that, the best thing to do is farm wood and in that area and just continue to make wood bow, because you're going to get 204 per bow versus 96 per gunpowder. So you may require less resources, which are easy to access, but you're not going to get as much. And also, whilst you're gathering saltpeter and flint, you're not upgrading your gathering trade skills like you would be with the with the wood bow. Now obviously you can optimize this a little bit. You can speed up your gathering by getting some star metal tools, and you can also look at getting some valuable perks. So on my star metal tool I've got log and yield, which means every time I chop a tree I'm going to get 15% more back. There is luck as well, but because we're on lower trees there's not any rare resources we're really going to get from those trees. If we were on higher trees such as mature trees, then obviously that luck is important. And it's the same thing with skin and knife. Again, you can get more yield. The higher the quality of the tool, the higher the thing, the more you'll get. And the other important thing on these is the gathering speed. Now obviously I'm at 385%. You'll also gain some gathering speed from your logging skill directly. So you see I'm at 133%. Every time I level up, I'll gain a little bit more gathering speed. So I hope that guide was helpful for you. I've been doing this for 2 days now, and I've managed to get myself up to 105 with a relatively short space of time while still playing the game. I often alternate between a few quests and then doing a couple of runs at the end of the night to get it up there. Engineering is very important. I'm now going to be pushing towards Orcaleum tools myself, as I'll be looking to wear them soon. Yeah, so if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and keep an eye out for other videos where we'll look at the best ways to play New World and the best ways to optimize your gameplay.